Welcome to the engine of my 1971 Ford Maverick. This assembly is the Valvetrain. These are rocker arms. They rock back and forth. They rock because there's a push rod here. You can barely see it there somewhere. The push rod rubs against a camshaft. The cam is an elliptical piece of metal, kind of egg-shaped. And when it goes up, it pushes the valve spring, the valve, down, and the spring returns it back into place. And I have no idea what this central shaft is called, but that's okay. And that's the carburetor. There we go. These are the mighty spark plugs of the 6 cylinders. Oh, I should explain. This is a 6-cylinder engine, but there are 2 valves per cylinder. For example, this might be intake, exhaust for cylinder 1. Cylinder 2, intake, exhaust, so on and so forth. And I'm slowly putting this all back together. This is the inside of the rocker arm cover, also known as the valve cover. It's as clean as I can get it without soaking the entire thing in some sort of caustic solution, gasoline, whatever. But it had a lot of carbon and sludge and stuff built into it. I mean, on it. 45 years of never being cleaned, it had a lot. So this is a lot cleaner. And this is the best I could do on the outside. Still some dirt left, but I didn't want to scrape all the paint off because that wasn't the job for today. Oh, this thing, it's not in focus. This gives instructions on how to time the engine. Ford was kind enough to actually put it on to the rocker arm cover, so I know how to time it properly. And here it is, and it says, oh, what's this? Powered by Ford. Here we go. This is what it looks like when it's all put back together. Over here is where you add the oil. Also, there's a tube that goes from here to the back of the air filter. Well, it's not here at the moment. And here is the PVC valve. More on that in a moment. What happens is that there are gases during the combustion process that have fuel in it in a vapor form that come out of the valves and needs to be recirculated into the carburetor. That's why you have a hose back here to go back into the carburetor that will eventually go back into the carburetor, and why you have the PCV valve, positive crankcase ventilation. It is this grommet that was in such bad condition that the valve itself was very wiggly, so it created a vacuum leak that might have affected the performance of the engine. As you can see, I'm now in exciting letterbox format. The designers at Ford decided that a 3/8 inch diameter hose would fit on top of the PCV valve. And this port here at the base of the carburetor would take a 1/2 inch diameter hose. You can see there's a problem here. The problem is for these Ford 200 engines is that they no longer make molded hoses for this application with a 3/8 inch end on one end and a 1/2 inch end on the other end. So the cure to this is this. Get it in focus. Oops, lost it. There we go. This is a brass adapter, 1/2 inch on the right end, 3/8 inch on the other. I'll show you the package. Now, this is not a commercial for the Shark Bite company, but they do make the 3/8 by 1/2 inch reducing coupling. There we go, it's in focus. Now the problem is, this hose, which is a 1/2 inch diameter, is actually just a bit too large. So you need hose clamps to clamp it down. It's probably some size like a 32nd or 64th to be accurate, but 1/2 inch is good enough, and once you clamp it down, it'll be fine. Now this is very important. You have to use a hose that is for fuel use. Even though no liquid fuel goes through it, the gases that does go through it has components of gasoline, and you don't want to use a heater hose for that. So make sure it says fuel hose or fuel line, and best of all, a lot of these are made in the USA. Whee! As you can see, I've attached a hose clamp onto the top of the PCV valve. I have a hose going there, down here, and here's the connection here. And then it goes down there with another hose clamp. Now, what I think I may need to do is, as you can see, that hose goes higher than the air filter. So I may have to trim this hose to be just a bit lower, which will put a little bit of more of a bend here. See, modern cars have it designed that you just attach an L hose, a plastic L thing here, but I don't have that luxury apparently. And so that's it, and it all seems to be working well. So just remember to eyeball it like that, and trim it accordingly, and try to not bend this too much. And that's all there is to the PCV valve video and valve cover, whatever. Thank you for watching. This is what it looks like when it's all put together.